I used to design all our flyers and all that kind of stuff. Oh, and let me back up. I was doing a JD MBA program for graduate school. So I used to write all the comedians' contracts in my dining room at my first house. They'd be in there up against my wall. I'd be doing all the headshots, and they would pay me $100, and I would give them 5 VHS tapes of their thing. That's how I was making my money on side, Adam. 5, and I would give them their pictures, their bio and headshot, in a packet. Because that's back in the day when you had to mail stuff out to promoters, and they'd be like, "We need your VHS tape." So from Michael Blackson, you know Michael Blackson,
Oh yeah.
the African King of Comedy,
Yeah, yeah.
Kevin Hart, all of them was in my dining room, got their first headshots in my dining room because that's what I was doing for Blue Rhine Graphics and writing. So my friend Ursula, I would go up to New York and do a couple things, and she was like, "You're so super funny. We got," and she knows I'm smart because everybody knew I was doing law school. I used to write for ESPN. I went to this event in San Diego, and that's where it was like a big comedy thing I got asked to do, and we were all out there, and we actually stayed in the room together. And she was like, "Girl, it's opening. I want you to write." So I did that, and because I got that, I started writing for Source magazine because the
Hmm.
comedian Talent. I don't know if you know him out of New York.
I don't think so.
He had a thing that he did in the Source magazine back in the day, and once he saw my stuff, he was like, "Oh, I want you to write." So I used to just do
Wait,
like
so you
funny
were going to
writing
law
articles
school
and
and
stuff.
doing it was a JD MBA program you were doing in
I did.
addition to all of this?
That's why I moved to Philadelphia when I graduated from art school to
You
go
went
to
from
because
art school to law school?
I wanted to be I wanted to be the curator of a museum of the like MoMA or Philadelphia Art Museum, but you have to have a law degree because you're dealing with acquisitions that are priceless. So you have to understand you don't have to practice law, but you have to know all of the legal stuff because people don't think about when a Cezanne or a Van Gogh comes from Paris here. Everything in between is legal work from the shipping,
Sure.
how it's handled, how it's packed, all of that stuff, and how you're responsible for it for however long it's going to be in residency at your gallery. So they require, and I was like, fuck it, I got tired of it. I dropped out. But the
I did
point
I
is, because I
I
had
did
all of
too.
this knowledge, yeah,
I
I
went to law
ended up
school
working.
too.
Yeah,
I don't think
so
I talked to
well,
you about that.
oh, it was a mess, but I learned a lot in a year. My eyes went bad from all of the reading, and I was like, I can't read all this shit. I don't know how my friends made it through law school, but like they
No,
say,
I it's insane. I
most
did the same
people
thing.
drop.
I dropped out after a year.
Most people drop out because law school is not easy. And I
It
took all that shit, the
sucks.
GRA, the LSAT,
Yeah.
everything. I was like, I knew I was going to graduate school, but I ended up working at an art gallery. I was a manager at Sorry, it's an Indonesian art gallery, teaching ceramics at Moore College of Art, and then I got the job at the law firm in marketing as the marketing director, and that was my last job. And I ain't had no job since.
That's crazy. That so
Yep.
when you were doing
Then
all
after
that
that,
stuff for like
yeah,
say that one more time, you cut out a little bit.
I was creating my own opportunities because I vowed I would never work for anybody else once I quit
Hmm.
working. So that's why I was writing and throwing trips. I was event planning. I still do it to this day. I do all kind of shit, Adam, keep money flowing up
Damn.
in here. I've cut down on a lot of stuff, but believe me, I use all my God given talents. I used to cut hair, do prom makeup, sew, hem prom dresses, whatever. I cut my husband hair. I be trimming up beards. My cousin Jan come down here every 2 weeks and get a ball fade. I be
Yeah.
hooking people up. Yes, because I do my own hair, nails, makeup, make my own clothes. So people be like, "Girl, can my daughter come get her prom makeup?" I be like, "Yes, I do all of that."
Well, here's a
I'm
question
all.
for you, because you have
Mm-hmm.
that like hustle mentality. Like as somebody that
Mm-hmm.
headlines now, like there's this big disconnect of like how do you go from when you're opening for people or like starting out in comedy to getting to that place? Like, do you have advice for people that are trying to do that?
Well, first. I don't understand what the disconnect is because I feel like everybody eventually ascends to that. So, excuse me, but explain to me where the disconnect is. Do you feel if it's a disconnect, I think it might be that people may be jealous of you or of that person and don't want them headlining, don't want them on the stage. Because I
Yeah,
can't see it. It just seems like a natural progression. If you're fucking funny, you're gonna headline.
yeah.
So you have to
How
explain to
long
me
did
where
it
the
take for you
disconnect is.
to? How long did it take for you to go from like starting out to headlining?
Uh, well, shit, I've been headlining since okay, maybe about 7 years.
Okay,
About 7, yeah, about
yeah.
7 years.
And so during that time, the 7 years you were hustling, you were like, doing all those side stuff. Like I think a lot of people they feel like directionless before they can start making money from stand up,
Oh,
and they're
yes.
trying to figure out like how to get better and how to get funnier and like during that time you had a bunch of shit you were doing on the side, but you're also doing a lot of shows too, right?
Yeah, and that's why I quit doing a lot of shit on the side because my shit was picking up. And
Yeah,
see, that's why I tell a meeting that I meet, and this is my always my best advice is to always tape your show on your phone and sit and listen to it and close your eyes and listen to it and pretend you're in the audience and just listen to where people are laughing. Don't listen to yourself. You just listen to where you hear motherfuckers laugh and mark it and be like, okay, they laugh when and that's how I built my shows. Because some stuff you may not even like. And then it might not even be a joke you like, but motherfuckers laughed at it. And then that forces you to work on it. Does that make sense?
sure,
But I feel like we're our own worst critics. It's hard for us to listen to ourselves, and it is. But at the same time, I don't think a lot of us put in the work. It's easy to jot shit down, but it's harder to always go back and review and follow up. I know
sure.
plenty of comedians. This is one thing that I hate. I think it's so fucking whack. Comedians that come on stage with their papers and shit, be flipping around and reading the jokes. And I'm like, is this a show or is it open mic? And I've seen people do that at a fucking show that people are paying like they didn't pay $100 to get in here and see motherfuckers, and you standing up there with your paper out or you looking on your phone like you're not confident in what you're doing. So to me, that makes me feel like you're not ready for like a main stage. You need to stay the fuck at an open mic.
Hey, if you like that video, make sure to hit the subscribe button below and follow our page for new weekly content.